Hey guys, welcome to Gaming and Console Tech. I am Ash, back again with another video. Now, in 1990, we older gamers didn't have an Xbox One with newfangled graphics, 60 frames a second, 4K, or a PC that did exactly the same. Instead, we had basically our little consoles. I say little, some of them weren't that little, but let's not go there. My particular console that I loved back in the 1990s on release was the Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis if you live in the US regions. Now, the console itself was an amazing console. It looked retro as all hell, and it actually got, over here it only got 2 revisions. Over in the US it got 3. Yeah, go and figure. You had the Mega Drive Model 1, Mega Drive Model 2, and then basically in America you had the Genesis 1, Genesis 2, and then Genesis 3. We didn't get that. It was only available in North America, was the Genesis 3. So yeah, we got the 2. We weren't that special essentially, so why not? Why the hell not? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the first model. I have got the second model, and I will do a review or a comparison of that to this, because they are drastically different really in design wise. Whereas games, they do pretty much the same, honestly. They just play the same games and whatever else. There are little bits and pieces for the, say, the 32X, and also things to take into account when you're using the Mega CD or Sega CD in the US regions. But that being said, let's take a look at the actual first model of the Mega Drive. Now, this one in particular basically was my favourite, honestly. The first generation was just so retro goodness. It looks retro, it feels retro, and just everything about it. Now, on the front, this is what I think anyway. On the front, the retro feeling comes from these. You've got basically volume, reset, and then an on and off switch as well. Now, if you remember me doing my Sonic Mania unboxing, that's what this console and the base to that is based on, basically. So yeah, that. And the console itself is really good looking, honestly. It's, if you're a sucker for retro tech, then you're gonna like this. But the fact of the matter remains that this is a beautiful machine. It's that simple. Now, as far as functionality goes, on the back you have your power, which is a different power cable to the Mega Drive 2 or Genesis 2. AV output, which is also a different AV out compared to the Model 2, honestly. It's just, why they do it, I don't know. But yeah, you've also got your RF, which, let's face it, nobody uses. Worst video quality you can possibly get from this. The best is RGB, believe it or not. This also supports stereo through the front jack, which I'll get there in a minute. And then you've also got this extension port here, which I'm not sure what's for. I think it might have been for Mega CD or maybe the 32X or something, I don't know. I've not looked that much into it, honestly. But like I say, this is what we had in the 1990s. This came out here in 1990, did the first model. And honestly, like I said, it is the most beautiful model. Now, whereas the Mega CD is concerned, there were 2 models of that as well. There was basically a side one which slotted at the side, and then there was also one that went underneath. 2 different models did exactly the same thing, but on both the Genesis 1 or Mega Drive 1 and also both on the Model 2, they have this slot, which is an expansion slot with a red cover. If you don't have the red cover, it's not too much of a big deal. It's just protects the terminals and everything. So that goes over there, and then when you hook it up to a Mega CD or Sega CD, you just pop it on the tray, clip it in. Whereas the Model 2 is concerned, which is the bottom loading one, that was basically, I think it was a Model 2. Yeah, pretty sure it's a Model 2. When you slot that one down, it has like a little thing at the side that you just clip in. So yeah, that. I've only ever used the Model 2, I believe, which is the one that loads at the side, which looked a little bit sleeker, but not as sleek as it really should have been for the CD add-on, basically. Because at that point everyone was using CD add-ons just to prolong their console, essentially. So yeah, that was that. And there we go, just pop that back on. Now, moving around to the front, you have your Sega ports, pretty much. Ironically enough, you can use the Atari joysticks with this as well, which is weird to use. There's not that many games you can play, but yeah, you can use it. Also, you've got this, which is what I was mentioning earlier. This is where you get stereo out. That does support stereo, whereas through the back port, it does not. So don't plug it in thinking that you're going to get stereo sound from this port at the back from the AV port, because you won't. You'll only get stereo sound from this, which, yeah, don't even go there. Now, the console itself, at the top, you've got, obviously, your cartridge slot. It is a bit dusty because I bought this the other day, so I've had a Model 2 for about a week now, so we'll be doing that later on. This one I've been working on, to be honest, because this is a little bit... It's a little bit of a passion for me, to be honest. It's one of those consoles that I really, really love, and I don't want to do bad justice to. And honestly, I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon, honestly. So we'll pop that back down there. Now, as far as games concerned, it's pretty self-explanatory, really. You've got your cartridge, you slot it in. I'm going to take one of the most common games known to man, and then what we do, slot that in top there, like that. Easy as pie. Easy as pie. It is pie. But that being said, there are quite a lot of other revisions of this console. One I've actually reviewed, which was the AtGames Mega Drive. Sadly, Sega have done that again and handed that license off to AtGames, and that really annoyed me, because you'd think they'd learn from the first, second and third time, but obviously not. That's what they've done. But that being said, the console itself is generally a really nice console. It is something that you really want in a retro collection, because it just screams retro feeling. When they revised it, they made it look a little bit more modern, a little bit more sleek and stylish, whereas this still has all your vents and it just has that retro feeling. The ring on top makes you think retro. Just the feel of it makes it feel retro, and I love the console in general. So yeah, there you go. As far as the console goes, that's your console. Honestly, pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, there are differences between that and the Mega Drive 1 and Mega Drive 2, but I'll go into that when we do an actual comparison, which I will get around to doing. And then you've got the control, which this is the standard control. You could buy a 6-button control with 6 action buttons as well, but that was later on in its lifespan, when you had games such as, well, games that utilised it, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, those games supported that. So, but yeah, there you go, guys. That is the beautiful Sega Mega Drive 1. Honestly, one of my, well, no, let's be honest, my favourite console of the 16-bit era, honestly. My second is going to be the SNES, because I wasn't one of these that kind of was biased to each one. Although, if I was to pick out of any of them, it would be Sega. It's that simple. Sega, Nintendo. Sega. Yeah, definitely Sega. But there you go, guys. That's been my review of the beauty that is the Mega Drive. Can't really say much else. So I hope you enjoyed this retro showcase. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. In the meantime, guys, happy gaming.